Hey Royals, it's that time again. We are making our team kit for the month, or if you are a stamping friend, I am making our stamps kit of the month set of cards. So go to Hold I Flip and I'll tell you all about it. All right, hopefully you can see everything okay. It's been a while since I've been in my stamp room, so making sure everything is looking and is working right is perfect. All right, so for our team kit for this month, I'm using the stamp set called Flowering Tulips. For those who are a Royal Heart stamper, they're able to purchase this kit from me for a very discounted price. And for those of you who are my stamping friends, this kit is available to you for free when you order this stamp set in the month of April. Also, with the stamp set is a bundle option to get the dies. When you buy them together as a bundle, you do save 10%. In order to finish the kit, you don't need the bundle, you just need the stamp set. But let me show you these dies real quick because they play a huge part of the cards that we're making today. So there's dies to cut out to make our tulips. There's this really awesome piece here that has these, I want to call it like a mini tulip. Let me put my hand behind it so it focuses. There we go. Kind of see it. Oh. So I'll show you the card that we make with this one. It's just beautiful and just lots of layering of this one die. There's even this really cool die here that creates a cutout of these mini squares. So we are using a lot of these dies, including the stems and the leaves and those petals. All right, so for this class, I tried to make the cards to have different ways of stamping or different ways to use the die. So this card here is gorgeous and it's going to use the cardstock to create our tulips. And like I said, we use that fun little die right there to create that window look. This one is just stamping, no dies at all. So we're creating this cute tulip, but we have paired it with the Flowering Fields DSP to help make it match and go together better. This is a heavy one on the dies. So again, this is just repeating that same die over and over again to create this flowers of fields of tulips in these different shades of purple. And that's a Mother's Day card. So very little stamping on this one and a lot of die cutting. And then this one is a really fun one, but we've used our designer series paper, focus, there we go, in right here to create our tulip. And we have this fun little pull out for our saying in the inside. So it's a little bit of a fun fold for this one. Let's go ahead and get started with our first one, which is this beautiful tulips with all the different shades of purple that we've created kind of a field look to it. Let me set that right there and let me grab everything we need for this card. This one I have a fresh fuchsia card base, and I've actually made it in a different layout. I have it at the 4 1/4 by the 11, scored at 5 1/2. That's in the middle there. For our card base, go ahead and grab the bone folder and get this nice and crisp and ready. Then we're going to grab our cute little stitch rectangle die cut of our basic white, and we're going to stamp our Happy Mother's Day on here using our Blackberry Bliss ink. Open that up and let's grab our stamp. Okay, Happy Mother's Day, ink that up. And I have my foam mat underneath me. It's just so that we can stamp a little bit better and hopefully more even. Perfect. I love that's clear, so I was able to stamp directly over it and look at it and see where I want it to go. And that's all the stamping for this card. Pretty easy. Next, you're going to have a mat of your Blackberry Bliss. And then we're going to have our basic white. This is what we're going to use to glue on our awesome tulips. And then you're going to have all these different pieces in your kit. For when I made this, what I did was I had a 2x6, or if you want to make it again yourself, a 2x6 of piece of the shade of purple of choice. I did Blackberry Bliss. I have Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and Rich Razzleberry. So I have 4 different shades of this one, of this kind of purple, and you can pick out as many of these as you want. When you cut it by the 2x6, you can run it through once your die cutting machine and then cut that by 3 inches because this is a 3x4 piece of basic white. So that makes it a little bit easier for you to only have to run it through once versus multiple times to get the same look. All right, so what I suggest is to start with the darkest shade of purple first and work on the bottom. These ones I've prepped already. This one I have not. You'll see when you get them in the kit, it will look just like this, where there'll be spots that haven't been punched out yet. Just take your paper snips or take a pick tool and poke those pieces out. They come out really easily, but they are best left in when sending kits so that the paper is just a little bit more sturdy until it gets to where it wants to be. And there you go. You also want to create a little bit of border. That's about 1/2 inch on the bottom. So when you put your die on that paper, just give yourself a little bit of room to have somewhere to glue. All right. Confession though, this will make a huge mess of those extra pieces. So I'm just going to get those out of the way. Let me grab my silicone mat as well. That's a great thing to have when you're going to use a lot of liquid glue. All right, here's mine. Let me move this aside so we can see it a little bit better. And we're going to flip this one over, and we're just going to put glue on the very, very bottom of this Blackberry Bliss one. Just like that. We want to be able to slide in pieces on the top, and we're not putting any adhesive on the actual tulips themselves. Something kind of like that. Flip it over, line it up to the very bottom of that basic white. If it's a little bit longer, that's okay. We can always trim it when we are done. All right, so I have one in that shade. Let's go to my next Blackberry Bliss. I like to do them by 2s, or I like to throw in one, just single one. But it depends on how much room you have. And what I really should have done, and I apologize for not showing you, I usually like to lay it out first, and that way I can kind of get a feel of how I want this to look before I actually start the gluing. So I'm going to slide this one under. It's going to go a little bit underneath where this one was as well to create that really cool filled look to it. Okay, we'll go with our next color I have is our rich Razzleberry. Sometimes you'll see there's still a little piece right there. We'll just poke that one out. Flip it over, put some liquid glue on the very bottom, and slide this one in. So this was the color I chose just to do one of it in that, instead of doing the double 2. Then I'll have 2 of my gorgeous, that's my gorgeous grape. When you have so many of purples, sometimes it's hard to remember which purple's which. Slide this one in. Make sure we get it good because we don't want to have any white showing underneath where that one is. Let's see. There we go. Maybe. I might need to take that one out. Let me try this one and see if it has a better fit to there. There we go. Perfect. That looks better. Let me add a little bit more glue to this one, and then I'll add that one right behind it. I'm holding it up so it kind of bends my basic white, so it's easier for me to slide that in. Okay, let's go ahead and do now a round of this guy, and by putting some adhesive on the back. Again, I think I'm going to do, it's easier when we have the thicker bottom first and then the smaller bottom. Slide this one in, and I honestly could stop with just those 3 colors and it would look gorgeous. So it's just up to you how many shades of purple you want to use to make it look the way you want it to look. I'll put that one right there a little bit so it creates like a fun shadow. Then we go ahead and flip it over and see how we did on the back side. Doesn't look too gnarly, so that's good, but we can take our paper snips if we want and just line it up so that it's completely even. You can even put this in your paper trimmer when it was absolutely dry as well and trim off these extra edges just a little bit. There we go. Then we're going to take our liquid glue on the back of our basic white and add it to our Blackberry Bliss matte. Kind of line it up so there's a border on all 4 sides, and press down where you have it where you want it to be. Perfect. Grab your card base. Let's go ahead and flip this over. We're going to add dimensionals to help pop it up a little bit. And I think I have my mini dimensionals today. They're just a little bit smaller than the normal size, and they work great for like these little labels here too. But you can use them for these bigger projects. You'll just need a little bit more in order to get the full coverage that you want. It just happened to be what I had handy, so that is what we will use today. Fix that one. So I have 9 on the back of this guy. I probably could have gotten away with 6 using the regular size dimensionals. Okay, flip it over, put it about center on our card base, like so, and then grab dimensionals and put it on the back of our Happy Mother's Day. We'll do about 3. And this card can be made with all different colors of cardstock. I did more of a monotone purple look to it, but you can do this in yellows, you could do it in all one color, or you could do it in multiple different bright colors. There's just so many choices. I do recommend do a little bit of embellishing. So we have our cute little bow here. I'm gonna fix it a little bit. I made this one pretty floppy, so I'm just pulling on each ends, and then we're gonna grab a glue dot to attach it. I'm gonna trim this one before we stick it by grabbing my ends and cutting together. Okay, my glue dot, I'm gonna put my knot to the dot, pinch it to pull it off, and put our cute little bow right here by our Happy Mother's Day. Super cute. That's our first card with this fun field of tulips and all those shades of purple. All right, let's go on to our next card. This one here is just stamping. So I did some die cutting to do the prep work here, but we're going to show you how easy it is to make a card without the dies. I did use a Stitch So Sweetly, So Sweetly Stitch, which are soon retiring dies for this cute border here. Let's grab it. We have our Pale Papaya as our card base. I have my Flowering Fields DSP, which is just gorgeous with all those beautiful tulips. And on the other side, it has more of a less busy side. Let's grab out our pieces that we need to stamp. And I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder to get this card base ready. So this one is pretty simple. Like I said, the DSP, the thing that we're going to stamp on, and then our mat. This would be probably even considered simple stamping. I'm going to grab my foam mat so we can stamp it evenly, and let's get ready. So let me do our Evening Evergreen is my choice of green for this card today. It matches perfectly with our DSP and with our mat. And I'm going to start with stamping my words first. The words for this one, let's see if I have it. Oh, did I leave it on the stamp set? No, but I can't see it on my table. 1 second. I've lost it already. We might change the saying to this one. Oh, I found it. It was just buried underneath some cards, you know. All right, we'll ink that up. Do a couple taps on your ink pad, straight up, straight down. And then look to see if it looks like it's on there nice. Go about lower center, well, lower left on this one. And the saying says, let today be the start of something new. This would be a great graduation card. For those of you who have people who are graduating soon, I highly recommend that saying for it. Next, what we're going to do is go ahead and stamp our stem, and then our grass, and then our flower. Because I want to know the placement of where everything needs to be, we're going to go kind of backwards. We'll put this guy here. There we go. We'll grab our cute little grass. Oh, there we go. I'm telling you, I'm losing all of these stamps right now. Perfect. That just creates a little bit of extra on the bottom. And then we can keep this part out. We're going to use that in just a minute for the tiny little piece inside of the flower. Or you can use a basic black if you wanted to instead. I like to carry the color on, keep it going, so that's why I will keep it that same color. Now I'm going to use, wrong color, Pale Papaya. This matches our card base, so that's going to be the flower of choice. And you want to start with the outline. You'll look at these two. There's two-step stamping, and one is a fill-in, and one has more of an outline piece to it. So we're going to stamp the outline first, full on, completely just ink it up, line it up. So it looks like it's going to be right about there. And then we can do the add-on. For this one, you want to make sure that you are going to stamp off, so either have a scrap, a piece of paper, or your grid sheet, something underneath it to stamp it off. So I'm going to ink it up, then I'm going to stamp off, a little bit more, there we go. Stamp off right there, line it up, you'll see where it matches, and press down. So it's a very subtle when I ink it off, but you'll see just a little bit of color in there to create a more full look to that flower. That's the done stamping that one, and we're going to grab our little tiny inside piece for our flower and stamp that. Inking it up in the Evening Evergreen and stamp. Super cute. And that's it for this one. Oh, you know what I forgot on my last card, which I just saw on this one, is that, we'll bring it back in here. I want to have some of the iridescent rhinestones. So I'm putting it in groups of 3 on this one, and we're just going to put it in some random spots to make it kind of look like it's falling. There we go. I realized that on this one I forgot, so I'm going to put it right here now also. You add a little rhinestone. That's the iridescent rhinestone, which is super pretty and has a really cool shine to it. All right, let's go ahead and attach this now to our mat. All these measurements will be up over on my blog, either in the description below or on the comments below, depending on where you're watching this. We'll go ahead and add that piece with some liquid glue. Then we're going to flip this over and put some dimensionals on the back. That's just a great way to add a little bit of layering without having extra paper. Also, people love cards that have dimensionals on them. I feel like it just makes them less flat, literally, and it creates a little bit more fun. Let me add this DSP to the front of our card. I start on one side laying it down, and then I look and shift it over if I need to, so it's all lined up. Perfect. Flip this one over, place it about center, right about there. And there you go. An easy stamped card with just a couple of layers to create this beautiful, beautiful card. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the next one. Let me do a quick cleaning as we move things out of view. There we go. All right. The next one we're going to make is really awesome. This one is using we're making a flower, but we're using the DSP with a little bit of cardstock here. And like I said, this one has a really fun little way to go ahead and pull this through and create a fun message for the inside here. All right. So this one has a couple different measurements on it. Again, we'll have it on my blog, but you'll see that I have it scored here and again scored there. I'm going to take those 2 score lines and we're going to fold this one down. Just like so. Okay, let me grab some tear tape here too. Let's go ahead and actually stamp our awesome saying. We'll grab our foam mat in. We need our Evening Evergreen because that's our favorite. No, it's just the one that works really great with this color. And it is a great, like, basic green, I feel. I'm going to be sad the day that one retires. This saying is one of my favorite ones from the set. It says, no one deserves a happier birthday than you. I just love that. And I've used it on lots of cards already. This stamp set is carrying over into the annual catalog. It's currently in the mini catalog, and you can get it with this beautiful paper. The paper, however, will not be carrying over the flowering fields, and you have till the end of June to get this paper. So if you are loving the paper as well, then I highly recommend getting that before it is no longer available. All right, this is our basic white piece for the inside of the card. We're gonna go ahead and stamp that using Poppy Parade and our Petal Pink. I did try, let me show you my samples right here, some stamping with the Petal Pink and then Flirty Flamingo. So it's just a preference of which shade of pink you like in the inside of there. There's a little subtleness of both of those colors, and so you can pick whichever one you prefer, or whatever ink pad you actually have. We're gonna start with the Poppy Parade first. We're gonna stamp our bigger flower image. So it looks like this. Oop. And I'm gonna ink it up. And I'm gonna go to the very top of this one and stamp it. Then we'll come down to the very bottom and stamp it again. We're gonna make 4 of these, and we're trying to figure out a good spacing by doing the top and bottom first and filling in the space in between. And that looks pretty good. Go ahead and put that color away and grab your Petal Pink or your Flirting Flamingo, just depending on how you like it, and grab what I call is like the heart-shaped piece. This is what the filler and petals. And we'll ink this up and just line it up right over that outline where you'll see it'll match and stamp. Ink it up and stamp. And if I mess up on this side, I could totally flip it over and start again. It is okay. That's why we always want to stamp first, and then we start attaching to our card bases and our mats after we've stamped. Okay, that's it for stamping for this one. Let's go ahead and start our assembling. So let's grab the mat for this one, flip this one over. I'm gonna use just a little bit of steel plus each corner, center, flip it, and attach to our mat here. There we go. Then we're going to grab our card base, and let's go ahead and add our happy birthday saying. I'm going to do a full run like that of our seal and line it up right here. Perfect. Add our DSPs. This DSP has these beautiful flowers on one side and kind of like a paint strokes of blue and whites and that petal pink on the other side. Grab your liquid glue and we'll attach this one. Let me go a little bit more. I feel like that was fairly light. There we go. This creates a fun pocket. So this would be great to even put, I've put like hot cocoa in something like this before. A gift card would go in here nicely. Lots of fun things. All right, so for the next part, I'm gonna use some tear tape. I'm gonna put, because it's just a stronger type of adhesive, I'm gonna measure to right about there, put it underneath, and we're gonna put this down. I could use my Seal Plus as well, or even my liquid glue. It would just need some more time to dry. But we're gonna lay that one down so that we know it's nice and secure. Then we're going to take a little bit of more pieces here, and I'm gonna put some just here on the corner. If you wanted to go all the way down, you could, but you really don't need it to go all the way down unless you are creating a real pocket and you don't want things to fall out. This one just is gonna have this piece of paper, so I'm content with it just having it at the top. Okay, we'll take off the backing on both sides. Just make sure you're close as you can to the edge and make sure you're leaving this side free. Go ahead and close it up. Perfect, and we can slide this part in. Looks great. We're still now need to embellish. So what we're gonna do is add, of course, that rhinestone, the iridescent one, and we're gonna set it right here by our H on our happy. Love it. And then we're going to build our tulip here. So this tulip is made with cardstock and DSP. So this side is this side. I just flipped it over, so this is going to be our inside heart. This is going to be our back of petal. It has that cool light look. If I flipped it over, you would see it also on the back there. Make sure you just flip it when you die cut it so that it creates that cool embossed look also for the petal. Okay, we'll take our cardstock of our Poppy Parade and we're just going to fold it over a little bit like that. And then we're going to attach first the littlest petal. Put a little bit of liquid glue. And we're going to put that inside, move that so you see a little better, right here where you see that where that center hump is, like so. Grab your heart piece of your petal, that's the DSP. We're going to flip this over and put it so it's meeting on the bottom here, so that we can still see our center petal right there. And then we're going to add either liquid glue or you can even have a glue dot. And we're going to close up our tulip here. I like to do the big side first and then close it with the small. And then we'll grab a clear block to help it stay down for a little bit, make sure that it attaches perfectly. I have 2 die cut items out of Pear Piaz. I always say that one wrong. It's not a word I usually use. All right, so we're going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of our stem. And then we're going to attach our stem. I want my stem to curve this way though. So we're going to have it just about like that to the bottom. And then we're going to attach our leaf at the very base of this as well. So we'll put that leaf going this direction. We just make sure that we stay within the borders of our card base. That way we know it'll fit in the envelope. All right, this flower should be ready. We're going to flip it over and we're going to add just a couple dimensionals. And then we'll attach it to our stem. Just like that. Oh, super gorgeous. Look at that. I just love the way that looks. And it's a little bit different than what the card we're making next that just uses only the cardstock. All right, let's go ahead and go on with that very last card. We'll get that one in view. This one is just so classic. It's that basic white with a Poppy Parade and that pear. And then we've stamped it with our ink, which is our black ink. And it's just super stunning because it just has those pop of colors on the basic white. Okay, so for this one, I have our die cut piece of the basic white with our little, I don't know what to call those, little mini squares that have been cut out. And then I've used my stitch rectangles for this piece here to die cut this whole shape. That measures about 3 inches by 4 inches to give you a reference of size. For this one, let's go ahead and do our stamping real fast, just before we get too crazy busy. This is a cute little image from a soon-to-be retiring dies, the Tasteful Label dies. That's some of my favorite ones, and I use it all the time. So it'll be sad to say goodbye to that one. I did grab my Memento ink, and I'm going to grab a saying that says, "Just thinking of you today." Ink that up, and go about center. Perfect. All right, and that's all the stamping for this card. The rest will be die cut amazingness. Set that aside, and let me grab my card base so it's ready to go. This is a thick basic white because our basic white traditionally is not as thick as our colored cardstock. So I always recommend the thick basic white when you're doing more of that type of card base stamping. Let me grab, again, here we go, this guy, our silicone mat. We need to build some flowers. There's lots of pieces here. You'll need at least these 3 little pieces here for each flower. This is the tiniest little petal. Nicely about these dies, they come with more than just one of those dies, so you can run it through at the same time. Here's our stems. We'll get those ready in a minute too. And then we have another tulip with that size, and one more here. So 3 different sizes of tulips. And what we'll need, I'm facing them down so we can get ready to glue them. So the one of them does not have this one. Here we go. And that's how we have it lined up. Okay. So this has it, so we have, this guy only needs that petal there. There we go. Now it's right. All right, let's start with the top one first and we'll work our way down. We're gonna fold it right here on the crease, just to know where it needs to go. And it's ready. We're gonna grab our liquid glue. Either put glue on the back of the petal or just put it directly on the flower itself. This is the one that we made earlier. So it's the same idea, petal, little petal first, heart petal next. And then we can put some adhesive on these outside flaps, fold it in, and grab a block to stick on top of it to help it stay down. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Again, we're gonna start the bend so we can see what the flower will look like. We bent both of our pieces. We'll put a little bit of glue on the inside, add our petal right about there. Then we're gonna go ahead and glue this close. There we go, gorgeous. Again, it's gonna take a minute to close on you, so we're gonna either pinch it or grab something heavy to put on top of it. Another clear block. Okay, this one just is gonna fold in half. Those other 2 had 2 pieces on the side that came in. This is just a fold in half one. Again, we're gonna use our petal, little petal first. And if you wanna get a feel for these without glue, do that first. I know I've made a couple of these flowers now, so I feel like I'm pretty confident with where I'm placing them. But when I first was learning, I made sure I played with it to see what I thought would look best. So the heart one went over that tiny petal. We'll put some glue on both sides of this guy. We'll close it carefully because this one's the most fragile of them. There we go. And again, we'll grab something to help hold it down. Perfect. All right, for these next ones, there's a little bit of tricks to this one. Let me pull this down. How we want to work it. We want to create a beautiful bouquet right here on this piece. So what we need to do is grab our leaves and we need to grab our tulips. So hopefully they're dry, and we need our dimensionals. So what I want to do is take my little guy here, make sure he's good, and we're going to put a dimensional on the back. I put at least one on. You can do more if you want. Make sure you just leave this bottom part free, so that way we can use that to put our stem. I'm going to cover up just a little bit of these cut out spots there. Let's go ahead and grab our next center flower. Again, grab a dimensional, put it close to the top. We're going to go a little bit lower on this one. There we go. And our last tulip, we're going to have it look like it's kind of going out towards the right. All right, now that we have it placed there, what we need to do is add our stems. We're going to carefully attach them just to the top though. So I'm going to flip them over. Let me grab my silicone sheet. And we're going to put glue just at the very top of each one. Not the whole way down, just the top. So we got to make sure we know which direction we're going though. So for this guy, the top will be this direction, because I want him to bow a little bit. And we'll slide him in and press him down. And it's okay if you get a little bit of hang off right there. Okay, next let's go ahead and grab our thick stem, put some glue at the top, slide it in right about there. I'll let it dry. And this guy, let's figure out his top. We want him to bowing out more of a right curve on the bottom. Glue on the top and slide it in. Okay, those are gonna dry. While those are drying, let's go ahead and add these leaves. Oh, so carefully. Or, yeah, we'll do leaves first. I always debate. We'll put a little bit of liquid glue on each one of these. We want to do our big leaves first and on the outside, and then we're going to do our center leaf. These are going to be completely behind our stems. So I'm going to have this one sliding underneath here. And I'm going to have this guy. It's going to come. He's going to meet where the other leaf met on the bottom and slide him in. He's going to cover a little bit of our checkers, our little squares, but not too bad. And then this last leaf, we're going to put him right here. And just press that down and let the adhesive attach. Okay. I have this beautiful ribbon. It's one of my favorite ones, and this one is carrying over into the next catalog. So that is fun and exciting. And I have it measuring about 6 inches here. We're going to take it and slide it underneath our stems and just carefully tie 2 knots. We're going to do a gathering knot. Oh, actually, sorry. I said that wrong. We're going to wrap it around twice and then tie the knot. That's where the 2 came in. Okay, so we'll have it long on one side, short on the other. Wrap it again by holding it and sliding it under our stems. And then we can tie our knot. There we go. Depending on how thick you want that, you can wrap it as many times as you want. Oh, I love it. Kind of just gathering those stems together. I'm going to trim this one just a little bit on each side. Perfect. Super cute. All right, now we can just attach this to our card base. And I like to use dimensionals again. I know. I think almost all of these had dimensionals on them somewhere, which goes to show how much I truly love dimensionals, and I give them out like gifts. They're one of my favorite things to give. Okay, 1 in each corner, 1 center, and there should be a little bit of room for that corner too. Remove the backings if they will come off. There we go. Flip it over and attach to the center of our card base. Then we just need to attach our cute little saying, that just thinking of you today. Add dimensionals here. And we want this to overlap just a little bit of our leaves, but not too much. Flip this over, we'll go right about there. So it's coming over our leaf and a little bit over here, but definitely not going past our score line there. And then lastly, we just need to embellish with another one of our iridescent rhinestones. I like to have it right there next to the just. And here we go. We have that beautiful classic looking tulips card using those simple colors. All right, let me go ahead and get all these cards back in view so you can see them one more time. So we have our cardstock tulips. We have our DSP tulips with this beautiful card here. And then I have just a stamping tulip with our Pale Papaya. And then lastly, this beautiful multi die cuts of the tulip fields to make the gorgeous purple card here. I hope you guys have had some fun learning how these different methods of making these tulip cards using the flowering tulips and the tulip dies. Have a great day and happy stamping, everyone. Goodbye.